Two. Good night of Shabbos, everyone. Good night of Shabbos, Pashrei. Good night of Shabbos, Rosh Chodesh, Elul. In this week's Parsha, which talks about the preparations that are necessary, it presents us with mitzvahs, but those mitzvahs are all preparations that are necessary for coming into the land of Israel and for taking over the land. So the Torah tells us that when you get into the land of Israel, we're commanded to knock down all of the high places, all of the idolatry places of the nations of the world. But then the Torah says, don't do this to your God. In other words, don't knock down the places and then put up places all over the place. So that just like they had so many different idolatry places, you have so many different places to serve Hashem. No, don't spread yourself that thin. Rather, but rather to the place that God is going to choose to put His name there. So then, you're going to seek out His Shechina, Ubasa Shama, and you'll come there. Means there's going to be one place, one temple. For a while it's going to be in Shiloh, then it's going to be finally in Yerushalayim. There's going to be one place that God has chosen to place His name. That's where the Shechina is going to be, and that's where you're going to serve Him. But if you look at the command very carefully, it starts really in plural. L'shichno sidrshu, you'll seek out His Shechina. And that tidrshu is plural. Ubasa shama, and you will come there. That's singular, ubasa, and you will come there. Why does it start out plural and end up singular? Plus, you have to wonder, really, why is it necessary to say, l'shichnei sidrshu? Why not just tell me that don't do this to God, put up one temple, ubasa shama, and you go there. The Navi will tell you where it's supposed to be. He will tell you exactly where it's supposed to be built, where the mizbeach needs to be, where the aron needs to be. He'll tell you everything. He'll lay it all out for you. Why do I need the sidrishu, l'shchina sidrishu, that you should seek out His shchina, ubasa shama, and then you will get there? Why do I need that step of l'shchina sidrishu? So the Alshich explains very beautifully that the Alshich says that the drisha, the very desire to build a place, that in itself already confers the kedusha on the Jewish people. That just the fact that everybody's seeking the same thing, that everybody's got the same goal, everybody's looking for the same thing, that by definition brings us together. And says the Alshich, that's why it starts in plural, that we do it as individuals. Everybody's getting there on their own, but then eventually the fact that everybody is pining away for the same thing, everybody is the shichnai sidrishu, then what's going to happen is that drisha itself, ubasa shama, it's going to bring you together as one. It's not just the makom, it's not just the place of Yerushalayim, a city that drew us all together. It's not just that that's going to draw us together, but it's the common drisha. It is the common goal that we all ultimately want to get to the same place. And that once we have that desire, we are guaranteed that we're going to find it. Uba'asa shama. But I think you could take that even a little bit further. Because I don't think it's talking just about Klal Yisrael. I think it's talking about every single individual. That this mandate of the Shichnai Sidrishu, of what we have to desire, what we have to seek out, Ubasa Shama, and the guarantee that we're going to make it there, I think that's really the mandate and the promise to every single individual. Rav Nachman of Breslov says a beautiful story, a mashal. Says it was a fellow who went to a klezmer festival, and in the klezmer festival he was listening to incredible music, and he loved that particular kind of music, but he heard a particular song that touched his soul very, very deeply, lifted him up, brought him a sense of joy and a sense of happiness that he had never experienced before in his life. And then he left the festival, and the rest of his life he was really spending looking for that piece of music. Anytime he met somebody who was a klezmer artist, he would ask him about that piece of music. Anytime he heard a klezmer festival, he would go and he would listen to the music to try to hear those sounds again. Until finally he heard that song. And it once again touched his soul. And it once again lifted him up. And this time he took the music with him. so that he can have that sense of connection constantly. Says Rav Nachman, that's like the neshama of a person. The neshama of a person has tasted something so sweet, has heard such beautiful music. The neshama of a person, when it was in Olam HaNeshamas, in the world of souls, was able to feel a connection and a closeness to the Ribbon Shalom. And then it gets sent down to earth. And it spends the rest of its life trying to hear that music again, trying to feel that connection again. But we try to satisfy every single part of ourselves and to try to find that connection. We try to find that connection in our money, in our material possessions, in stuff, in things. We try to find it in people. We try to find it in experiences. We do it in a very disconnected kind of way. It's almost as if we're trying to satisfy and trying to find the pleasure for each and every part of us, until we realize that there's something that holds us all together. There's something that connects every piece of our lives, from our working lives to our learning lives, to our living lives, to our family life. And that's the master of the universe. That's Ribbon Shalom. And the minute that we recognize that, the minute that we recognize that the Ribbon Shalom is miraculous, he holds together all of these things, that's when we feel that feeling again, that sense of connection to him. L'shichnai sidrishu. We spend our lives so disconnected, looking for the Shekhinah, looking for that connection to God, until we recognize that God is part of everything. And he is the reason for everything. And I have to put a little bit of the Ribbon Shalom into every single thing I do. And when I do that, then Ubasa Shama. I stand in front of him and I feel that connection and that closeness. Rosh Hashanah, we stand in front of the Ribbon Shalom. We stand in front of the Kisei HaKavod. We stand in front of the Melech Malchei Hamlachim, the King of Kings. But sometimes we stand there and we don't feel connected. Sometimes we're standing on Rosh Hashanah, we're listening to the shofar, but we're forgetting that God is behind it. We're forgetting what it's really connected to because we didn't do the preparations to seek him. And that's what the month of Elul is about. Ani l'dodi v'dodi li, I'm for my beloved is for me. It's about seeking out that connection to the Ribbon Shalom. L'shichnai sidrishu, that's the month of Elul. Ubasa shama, that's Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. And that if we seek him out during those months, during that month, then Ubasa shama, you'll stand in front of him. It'll be him. You'll feel that connection. There has to be the commitment in the month of Elul to try to find him, to try to find the godliness in everything we do, to try to find the God and the point inside of everything we do, to connect all of the pieces of our lives. Because when we do, then Ubasa Shama, when you stand on Rosh Hashanah, you are there. You're fully in, and you're standing in front of the Kisei HaKavod. You're not standing on a yontif. You're not just hearing the shofar. You're not just showing up in shul. But Ubasa Shama, you've arrived there in front of him. And this instruction is not just an instruction of a Klal Yisrael, how to prepare the way for the ultimate mikdash, but it's for every single Jew how to prepare its way for building its own mikdash inside. Building a temple, a sanctuary, a place where you can feel the Ribbon Shalom's presence. You want Dodi Li? Then you have to be Ani L'Dodi. Then you have to seek him out. L'shichnai sidrishu. And the Torah guarantees us that even if we come in with all of our parts, even if we're like plural, we're just we're so diffuse and so diverse. But Ubasa Shama, you will become one, because every part of you will become connected. And every part of you will feel that presence that you've been looking for. Will hear that beautiful song that you've been seeking your entire life. We should have an amazing Shabbos. We should have an amazing Rosh Chodesh, which is just the beginning of an amazing month. A month of seeking, so that on Rosh Hashanah we can stand there and we can know, Ubas Hashama, I have really arrived. Have a beautiful Shabbos.